He should
But try your own way. He did this.
So if I'm going to write this code, I have to write it in the contact valid function, yes?
Yes, inside.
Yeah, is contact valid? Yeah. So it's like a question: is contact valid?
Yeah.
Yes or no? If it's valid, you move because you're gonna call it here, right? Here when you add.
Okay, but what is this? The new contact. The new contact
it's an object.
Okay, yeah. So where this comes, this object?
It's here, right? Look at my screen. This is the new contact because you see add. Okay. So add the params of the method. This is the param of the method, right? Okay. So this is the new contact. This is the one I'm trying to add.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Try out the second option. Phone or phone length is easy. Valid name was probably difficult for you, but phone and phone length is probably easier to do.
But when you add the new contact, you add only the name. You don't add the name and the phone.
So when you pass the new contact, you pass an object, right? You see here? Yeah. This is an object, right?
Yeah, you pass.
So you need to check. First of all, you need to check if the keys are there. So name and phone is there. Then you need to check if name is a string and the phone is a number, like I did. You remember? With type of. You remember that part, right?
Yeah.
I wrote that. Then you need to also check if this is at least five numbers. Let's say 5 digits, because you can also have a phone number 0. Makes no sense.
Yeah, but the question is when you want to add a new number, a new contact. You add only the name or you add the...
No, you need to have both.
Both of them.
Yeah. When you create a new contact, you need to have both a name and phone. So also you need to check if the key exists.
And when you remove only the...
Yeah. When you remove, you remove only by name. Yes.
Okay. I just want to, why.
It's empty. Did you have the get?
The list is empty. Should be, isn't it?
No. It's the list. Yeah, you're printing the list here, and the list is empty. It's good.
Yeah, but shouldn't tell me. Tell me the list is empty.
No. If you try one more.
Okay.
If you try one more, yes.
See, this is an object.
Yeah, you see? I'd say the list is empty.
Yes, like object has.
This journal stay here.
Yes.
This contact name would print it twice.
Phone number.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to fix. There is like a bug there. Should not be in the for loop.
So first you need to check if this object has name and name has some empty. Yes, like a property for new. So let's check if dot contact name. So we need that. So if you write this, so for it checks. If it is new contact name, and then you go inside. Or you can say and, so and like the and name not equal not empty. Like you should have something. Some text. ABCD whatever. So you can write and like you can also write comparison.
Okay. So just need a break after the console log, so you can so we won't stop loop.
Okay.
So when you arrive to this condition, you say, okay, also quit. break will say, okay, also we're good.
So then
But it allows you to do it in the if statement.
This break is you can use inside the for. It's not. It doesn't matter if it's an if. This break relates to the for. You can actually use it here as well. So I say only one. So we said 3 validation. We actually 4 validation, right? We need to check the keys. So how do you check the keys for in an object? So there is this method on the object that you can say object as own property and whatever, right? So this could be a first validation. So the first validation is this. New contact has name, right?
But we are already doing it when we check if this list length equals 0.
No, because then I can also pass 2 different things. Test and another. So the length is not enough. You need to check exactly. So you need to check if the key exists. So name and phone needs to be there. And then you need to check if the name is a string and phone is a regular phone number.
Okay, so we have to check it first. We do if a new contact have a name and if new contact that has own property phone.
Yes, and you can do with you can say if. So if has a name and a phone, then it's a valid object, right? Else here you will throw an error.
So inside the if we do the validation then.
The contact needs to have
A name and a phone.
yes.
So inside the if we have to do the validation.
Yes, exactly.
Well, once he said, okay, we have name and phone. Now we check the phone key
Yes.
and the name key. Oh, okay, I got it.
like how do you read things from object? Exactly like this way. So can you write it like that?
Property.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Property.
Yeah. So this new contact, this one has this information, right? So you write this one. Okay. Yeah. So now new contact of name can give you the name information. Now I will to check it. If new contact of name is X, sometimes you can the new contact object can have a different key. How do you check if new contact of name is X? You can also just if new contract in there, right? Like this one. Also can check. Right? If it's there, then it will give you true. Otherwise it will give you false. Right? So this is checking one condition. Now we need to check if it exists, then it should be valid name. How do you see what is valid name? At least it shouldn't empty, right? It should have something, right? At least one character, ABCD or Iwana or some name, right? So now you are checking one more condition, and then what you do? This way you can add more conditions, right? And chain conditions. Now, how do you validate if it's not empty?
If it's not empty,
Name shouldn't empty. How do you say?
it's not equal to null.
Exactly. So can you write this one? Yeah. Yeah. Or you can see this only invert comma.
I just empty.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So
Couldn't we do like this?
not
Step.
empty, then it's okay. And
If we do new contact, dot
and then
phone,
forward.
code equal.
And then
No, you need to use type of. Oh yeah, you could no. It's better to type
So you
of
can check history.
But why? What happened?
because what are you gonna put inside number?
Huh?
What are you gonna put inside number?
The new contact phone.
type of equals.
Because you type in it.
Yes.
You type it, the new type of phone. So you checking it when you type it.
So you're saying like
Equals to space.
So you have to new contact. You type it. So you have
so
to.
you say we have a phone here, right? And we say it's a number.
Yeah.
So you're saying you wanna do
No, do string instead of number. Make it a string instead of number. So it
let's
tell
say-
you, it throw you an error if it's not.
okay. Let's see if this works first. So phone equal number phone. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
This will go.
Okay, so let's do a string now. So say phone s, right? You can do that.
Could work, huh?
You can do that.
I don't know because I didn't know about the type of. I mean,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's fine. If that works, it's fine. It works. I didn't even know that. That's good.
I use one type number and the other one I will use. Because there is even for the string, like you do like this.
Yeah. Okay.
I leave it like.
So remember that if you want to throw an error, you can throw an error by doing this.
Remember the true and false. So
Throw new
but if you
error, and then here you can write whatever you want.
is not
Yeah, actually create an error.
Yeah, you can create an error and you can throw it, so someone else can catch it.
so for today you don't it's always if it's true then it will come.
Like have error messages is nice because it will actually tell you what's really happening. If you are silent, you don't know where the errors come from.
Okay, so
So the syntax is here, like that.
so we have to do now the
Nice.
try and catch on the add the new content.
One more because also the length you need to check now, right?
Oh yeah.
So you need one more if,
She also implied the same.
and you need to remember you need to transform the phone into a string because the number doesn't have the method length.
Oh yeah.
So do phone to string. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
phone
yeah.
is a number, right?
Yeah. So
With one. So please
You guys want some help?
understand your information, right? So
Okay.
if you say
Okay. So first of all, your new content is gonna be an object, right? Like a JavaScript object.
Yes.
So let's write here how it will look.
empty, right?
Just let's write an object here in a comment. So how it will look.
Yes.
There would be this, right? That's this one.
Yes. And type of name is string, right?
Okay.
Type of name.
So you need to check if the object you're passing in has the key name and phone. So you do new contact here inside the if.
Inside.
Yeah. Try to delete this line.
The type of the
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah. Everything inside the if.
Equal to string.
So the first thing you want to do
Alright.
is to check if it has the
Type of
keys,
new contact phone.
right? So you need to check if it has the keys. And then you do by using new contact.
No, this is type of.
Yes.
How should I compare the
Dot.
number?
I think
And then
phone numbers
like
can
this.
be Still length.
Has own property.
Equal 6 to 8 digit.
So that will tell you true if has the key
Here.
name.
Length.
Oh,
Not type of.
not type of.
No.
But we want to be sure that is number.
Yeah, then the name is like
Then you
that
should
would be
type
the
of
name
equal
of the
number.
key, right?
So it's a number.
Name.
Just num here. Or
No, just name.
Num.
Yeah. This one,
Oh,
This-
can I
this one, it refers to this.
Make a new and
Yes, you can do that.
So you are checking if that object has the property name.
Yeah. Always.
Maybe somebody has something wrong with it, because it's something.
And,
And also you want to check that it has the
And it should
property
be
phone.
capital S.
Yes, and then again the same line basically with phone.
And number is not a variable.
It's the same, right?
It's a string. Like this.
oh, I should put it
And phone.
like this
Capital
and
N.
This will check if
And
you
what
have
is
those
object
keys. Because also I can give you an object with I don't know, height and
new
weight.
contact dot phone dot length.
So you want to check if you have those two keys. Does it make sense? Guys, one quick. I want you give you this hint. Do you understand why we need those two lines? With this line actually, those two checkers. Guys,
You know why or not? Yes? No.
No, that's why I told you.
No, I told they oh, but
He asked me, and I said,
no, it's good. It's good. It's a good question. I think it's a very good question because I teach Node and assume that you have a good JavaScript understanding because we didn't go into Node yet.
Yeah.
Like if it's
In reality, we are doing JavaScript, right? So we didn't start Node. And I assume you have a good JavaScript at this point, and you know those things. But if you don't know, there's no problem. I can repeat. I can explain to you. So you know what is happening here. This ASON property on an object. So you know object has some properties. Any object. If you create an object, like you go in your browser here, and you create an object. Let me make this bigger. You go in your browser and you create an object. Even empty, we don't care. This has some stuff connected to it automatically. Okay.
Yes.
You create an object and automatically for free you get some methods on that object. One of those methods is ASON property. This will check if the object has a specific key, not value, key. So if this
There is any key or not?
my new object. So let's create something that is meaningful. Let's say user, right? User is gonna have name, age, and country, right? So now I can use, do you remember the own property?
No, I don't know.
Nice. Then I can check if as country.
it should be true.
Yes. So that's what it does. When you create an object, you for free get a set of methods. One of those methods has own property, and this will check if that key exists in the object. If I now do my object dot as on property country, what I will get? False. Because my object is empty. It doesn't have the key country. It's the same when you create an array. When you create an array and you create an array and you create an array, call it A. you get some free stuff, right? You get length, you get a push, you get pop, shift, unshift. The same, when you create object, you get some methods together with the object. And you can use those, free. Yes, I can come down. So I'm using those two. I'm using S on property here to check if the object has both name and phone. Because it doesn't have a name and phone, it's a disaster, right? We cannot do anything about it. So it at least needs to have a name and phone. You can also put more keys when you create the object, but name and phone needs to be there.
I can show you from here.
Yeah, I can come. So you now you understand the line, right?
You know,
Yes.
when it checks this,
Yeah.
Okay.
Now for sure inside this if in this part, now you know that you have name and phone. But this is a phone, non-phone.
oh sorry, phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, if it's true, I will check this.
Yes, exactly.
And
You need to check if the name is a string.
yes,
This is with small s.
but instead the capital S. Okay.
You can check in the browser.
Okay. And just take a look.
Yeah.
And then I will use and
No, do one thing at a time. Do first the name, if it's a string,
Yeah.
and then if it's
So
not,
now you need to check.
you throw a number. Or you throw an arrow.
Okay.
Then you check if the name, then you check if the phone is a number.
So
And
I
if
will
it's-
use if.
No, just one after the other.
Okay. And
You check one
okay,
thing at a
and
time.
when this error will show up.
Yeah, so if you don't have name and phone,
Yeah.
you will throw this error.
Okay.
If you have name and phone, then you start to check if the name is a string.
Okay. Where this.
No, that won't show. You need to throw a new arrow,
Okay.
right?
The same as this.
Yeah, like the same, but instead of say the contact needs to have a name and phone, you need to say the name is not a string.
Yes. My question is where I will see this error.
Not this. You will throw another one.
And
The code will never reach this because if you have a name and phone, you will never go in here. You will execute only what is in an if. You know what I mean?
Like
No,
this,
I
right?
didn't. Just imagine. Okay, I write the name and
Yeah.
this. This new contact didn't have a property like name.
Then we'll throw an arrow.
Okay, so where I will see this error.
You will see in the console. Then you need to catch it from where you call it.
Okay,
We are not there yet,
okay,
but you need to throw it because then we need to call this in here,
okay.
and we need to do a try and catch
Yeah.
and catch the error. So we do this.
I got it.
8 maybe.
I wanted you to write the valid method now only. Validation method. What's your name?
Omid.
I wanted you to only write the method. Then we use it after.
Yes, I will do.
Okay,
I got it. I got your name.
If it doesn't, what do you do?
I was going here.
So then that's solution.
Not very well. Okay.
Okay. So is contact valid? The first thing you need to check is if it has the keys, the name and phone. What I wrote there, right? The first line there. This new contact has some property name in the phone because you need to be sure that it has those two keys.
No, you don't need to check it now. Or if it's not empty, right? If it's not empty,
I think you have like a comment here. Oh, okay.
empty. Name not equal empty. Or maybe what is it? The name ways you can achieve, right? Let's stick to your idea. You want to check if it exists, right? If it exists, then do what? Okay. If it's not, then what else? Right? So, right.
So if you check it for a string, you need to use type of.
And write something.
So if you want to check that a value,
This doesn't exist.
a variable is a string, you use type of in front of the variable. I can show you.
It's like throw new arrow to two ways.
But in is contact valid instead of as a parameter we make a callback of add, so you just have to add it and you check it alone.
No. I'm gonna show you. Plug that in.
Because now if I have to call it, I have to call contact valid and then add it.
Okay, one second. One second. So for check if it's a string,
So it's okay. Now we're checking.
so let's say we have a name here,
Okay, name should not
and this is Marco.
uh,
So if I do
then true arrow.
type of name,
If not, it
it will return string. So if I want to check if it's a string, I will do this. Type of name equal string with a small s. Here, a small s. And then if this is okay, then I will say console.log name is a string. So this is how you check if
not none.
it's a string. And you can do the same with number, object, array, and functions.
Number is
Number.
string.
No, not if you do type of.
Otherwise,
You can check in your browser. You can do type of 4 is a number.
Okay.
so
If you do type of
yeah.
object is an object. What is type of array?
Next.
Object.
Good.
Could I ask a question?
Good.
Um,
Usually
yeah, if I
they say array, right? Type of object. Type of array,
Now,
array. But no, it's an object.
could I ask a question? Now,
Yes.
now we have to call a try catch in the add.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that part. You are bitten ahead.
is wrong.
Because
Yeah, you want to do that and then check.
so I don't have to call this anymore. I have just to create a new.
You just call that one inside try
Oh, okay. Okay. So just
with the new context. So this dot.
Yeah.
No, this dot.
There,
No.
you can say key does not exist.
Oh, did that in
Is valid.
Doesn't exist.
contact
Here you
valid?
give a meaningful
Yeah,
name.
new contact.
Meaningful error.
Oh, yeah. That. Oh, okay. And
So if that is okay,
And for now-
this won't throw any error. You see that?
Even that he gives
If this is okay,
name, but
Yeah.
it will not throw any error, and then you can move on. Otherwise, we'll throw an error, which will be one of those.
so I have to do log
Yeah.
e.
Yes.
What's that?
Actually, I think it's e.message if you want to just have the. Yeah, if you just want to have the text. Otherwise, you will log the error object.
Oh, okay.
If you want to see just the text,
The text. Otherwise, it will tell me.
it will tell you
type
type
syntax,
error. Yeah.
Yeah. I got it.
And now that code, this is good now, right? Because if you throw an error, it will stop. You can return after the error.
Okay. So.
So first he's checking what? Some condition, right?
Yeah.
Then if he doesn't say key doesn't exist. If exists, then he's saying is valid, name or length. Then he can say okay.
So, but if one,
Name and number provided.
only one.
So there you can have two error throw message, three message, but in your case it's only one because
Should I
everything
put the
in one.
same for the number and the
Right?
same
If you
line for
want
another
to
if
guide.
possible?
No, it's another if, because then you can give a more specific message, right? Because if this fades,
Oh, yeah.
like you're gonna.
But if it's okay,
If
something
you can
on
say
its
if it's
own,
a not,
okay.
you can just check if it's not a string and it's not empty. So if you can remove this bit, you don't need the first part. No. If it's
It's not empty.
do the other way around. If it's empty, or instead of and, so we are.
Or
Oh no, the main
Yeah.
contact phone
It's not a string.
new contact phone.
You know what I mean? So you're negative, and then you say if it's not a string.
Okay, yes.
So I want to make like the phone and the phone. are
Here you
correct.
can throw an
So
arrow.
if the phone is number.
Then you don't need
contact
else.
phone length should, for example, be 8.
You know what I
Why
mean?
doesn't
I say if the contact name is empty,
It's a comparison.
if the contact name is empty,
Oh, it's
Or
not.
the
One
type of the
you
contact
are
Yeah,
storing as
is
Not the
It's
string.
not a string.
So
Throw a new
So this should be
error,
okay, right?
and you say
Yeah.
like, yeah, write a message there. Not a valid name. Yes. And now you do the same
for the
for the
number.
for the for the phone. So if you do if your contact phone is
No, I
empty,
just deleted because he said write this code, then make a if again.
Yes.
For, but I have to make a if here. Or
No. First,
So
if let's say
else here.
if else throw an exception. Throw.
yeah.
Write a throw. So here, this.
Now we
copy-
want
copy
to
the
check
same
the length.
thing.
Oh yeah, the line.
So we want to say, yeah, but the problem with the phone is a
Yeah.
number, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And number
So
doesn't have
If
length.
it's string, not
Who has length?
string, then it's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we will do,
String,
let's
right?
say,
So you want to
Yeah.
transform to string.
how do you comment?
So you do
Comment.
Slash.
to string,
You can because
Okay.
and then you
And
do,
here, if it's not
and then
okay,
you
then
can
it's
do
okay.
after to string, which
Throw
is
throw a message, okay, your name is
Then you
not
can do
string.
length.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will make it
There
there,
you go.
but
Yeah.
here I should write.
And then
a
you
new
want to
if
have the length more
for the,
No,
for
inside.
the number.
For the number, yes, yes.
more than
Yes.
5.
Okay.
So if you
But
say
here you
less
change
than
this
5,
one.
because we
So
want
your
to say
your name is not
less than
string.
5, we
That's
turn
yeah.
you turn error, right?
I mean, whatever you feel,
And just repeat what you told me.
it's readable.
Like, I was
Correct.
sorry, I was
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
I think I made a mistake here.
Yeah, I can.
Then
I was going
one more of this for phone
Okay.
number.
Here.
If you copy
it's
it,
not equal to string. It's equal to
always do
string.
copy paste. Okay.
Okay.
Flow and
Yes.
I tried to express everything in one line, so if the type of the new contact phone is
And
number.
change this phone number.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this won't work because the phone is a number.
Exactly.
You need
That's what I was
to,
hearing.
yeah, you need to transform to string, right?
Yeah.
Because remember that the string has the property length.
Yes.
So you do phone dot to string length.
If I want to find the type of the new contact.
To as yeah, string, and then remember is a method.
Exact
So it was parentheses. To string in
Expected
parentheses.
You see what it is?
Yeah, it's
Expected bracket. So you have to syntax. Like
Close
you
parentheses after the
open something,
opening.
then
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
okay,
close.
okay.
And dot.
yeah, I
Okay.
Let's see.
New contact.
So you so you have one bracket open, one bracket open. Two.
Yeah, you need to check the type of the phone. The same as.
Because if he enters
Oh, no.
a letter as a phone number, then
This one big.
Yeah, you want to have the phone number as a number. So you want to do again type of phone equal number.
I think I can use this.
number as a string.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like between.
Yeah. Because type of returns a string.
Think about it.
But for example, in some fields, they don't allow you to type letters in where you have to type numbers. How do they restrict that?
Well, it's a complicated question, but JavaScript allows to. So in a
Restrict
string.
the type of int, like.
So a string.
Yeah.
So first of all, JavaScript has no type. In fact, a variable in your code can be a string, and then later on can be a number, and then later on can be an object, because you can reassign it. Second of all, a string can contain numbers. A string can contain anything that is part of the
The type of.
yeah. So it can be anything, right? So, and we don't have a type number in JavaScript, in the sense that you have a variable that you can only type numbers in there. No, we don't have it. I mean, that variable can be, a key can be a string or a number at the same time. So in fact, that's why we break it, right? Because when we pass an object, when we pass the phone key, that phone, nobody knows if it's a string or a number.
Okay.
That's what is called a dynamic language. Dynamic is the dynamic word is exactly because of the type can change. The type of a variable it's dynamic. Can change, which is sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing because you don't know which type is a variable in your code, right? If you keep changing this name into a number and a string and a function and object, then in your code you're gonna guess what it is. Then if you don't want to guess, you need validation. Then your code gets longer. So it's a trade-off. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So in case you didn't do, now you can see me doing it, and then we talk about homeworks. So I'm gonna carry on with this. So new contact, we said type of, right? Type of new contact equal string. So if it's not equal, that's the other way I will write it. If it's not equal, and also I want to actually check the length. If the length is 0, then I want to throw an error because I want to have at least one character in my name. Okay.
But wouldn't the space
Name contact is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still fine. What you can do is this. Trim will remove the spaces. So that's a good point. Good.
So, Marco, isn't it that new contact should have name and phone number?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, no, totally forgot. Just like that and like that. So trim it will do like this. So if I have a name, Marco, let's say I have name, let's say another name will be Marco, right? If I do another name dot trim, it will remove the spaces after the dot, you see? Okay, cool.
But isn't there a space before that?
Yes, it will delete the before.
I can do that.
Needed.
So I no, because this is a valid space because you have a space dot, right?
No, before the mark.
So if I do this, oh, sorry. Oh, so if I have that and I trim this, it will also remove before. So we remove those three.
Yeah, but why isn't the space between the name and the dot like get removed?
Because dot is a, I don't know. Is
No, it will trim. Will only remove from the beginning and the end. So the
Okay.
not in between, because you can have a name that is like this, right? And this is valid. I don't want to remove those spaces in between, right? Okay. So that's a good point. So trim, it's another method on strings. And then I will check that the length is 0 or it's not type string, the name contact is not valid. So I'm writing the errors here in my if. So if it's not a string of the length is 0, the name, the contact name is not valid. Okay. And then I want to do the same for the phone. And the phone needs to be type number. And remember that the phone doesn't have length. So you need to go to string before check the length. The phone is a number, right? Mm-hmm. So if I write number here, if I do phone, oh Jesus Christ, that. So phone2 is this, right? Phone2.length doesn't exist. But if I do toString, length exists. The number type doesn't have the length property, but you can still transform it to a string and check the length of the string. So that's why I'm doing toString here. So if the phone number is if the phone is not type of number, or the length of the stringified version is 0, then it's gonna throw an error here, and that's it.
Why you use or here? Why you don't use and?
Because one of the two is enough for an error. Because it could be a number, right?
Okay.
Like in this case,
You should use and in this case.
No, really not.
You know, because a telephone number should be, for example, 8 characters. Yes?
Oh, I want to check the length as well.
It should be 8, for example. I don't know.
And now I need and now I need an end. So in reality, now I need an end. You're right. You're right, because I need to also check the length. I will forget about it. Let's say not 0, but less than 5.
But I think you should use just equal to 5. Equal to 5.
So if it's 4 is valid, and if it's 7 is valid, or 6 is valid. No. Oh, we are catching the errors, right? So if it's less than 5, it's a problem. I want to stop. That's why I'm using
You don't
less.
have any telephone number less than 5 characters.
But if
you type it, right? If you type a telephone number with 3 digits, you want to throw an error.
Okay.
Yes. So less than 5, it's we want at least 5 digits or 6 digits. Depends which country.
But also emergency phone numbers are usually 4 numbers.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So now that you have this, this is all your validation you need for your new contact. You can call it here. So now you can have try and catch, and then you can say this is valid, is contact valid, and then you can pass the contact. So if there is an error here, you can console.log error.message, and this .message is the text in here. So now let's test that. So this is what I added to my contact, add contact. So I'm saying try, basically I'm saying try to check if the contact is valid.
I have a question about, if you go up, you're checking the number, the phone, if it's the number or the string less than 5. But for instance, if you add 3 people, one of them has this problem. You will not know which one has the problem.
No, this will run every time you try to add a new contact. So before you add a new contact, you're gonna check.
Yeah, but for instance, if you add 3 contacts and then you check, because you are the one that you're adding.
Yeah, you need to add it one at a time. It's one object. You're gonna add one object. So you're on one object you're checking. Yeah.
So every time you add one, you have to check it, and then
no, this will run every time automatically for you, because you are calling when you add it. You are calling this method before you add it automatically. You don't call this from outside. You are calling from inside. In fact, this is actually a private method. Private because you are using it inside yourself. It's not exposed to the outside. You're using it inside as a utility.
And excuse me, when you use the catch, go down.
Yeah.
And when you use this catch, in the first line that the if a statement is false, it will show the error. It's related to that if a statement.
Yes. So let's say you get an error here. Let's say your name is a number. You will see this. You will see the contact name is not valid.
Could you please execute it in the index and make a mistake on one of?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what. So I add this piece of code and I'm gonna run it now. So this works fine now. But let's say I wanna have. I put instead of Marco, I put a number. This is an issue, right?
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. The contact name is not valid, but you don't know which one. That's what I'm saying.
No, when you add it, it should throw an error, right?
Yeah, it did. The contact name is not valid, and that's right. But you don't know which contact name is not valid.
Oh, because you should stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
if you have to call the object one, for instance, if you
you should return here. So when you have an error, you should return. So you see, it's not adding. So we need to remember that.
It doesn't add it.
So when you add and you have an error, you should stop. You should not carry on adding it.
But it will return what will return?
Okay.
Nothing, undefined. But basically, return will stop execution here. It will not make the code move forward. Or if you want to, if this is confusing, you can also move everything in here. Okay, then return is not there anymore.
That makes sense. If
It's the same.
It doesn't run.
Yeah, you see the contact name is not valid, and then you can actually display the name. The contact name, so you can change this to. You know this syntax?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you know the contact name 123 is not valid.
So you can do it even with the phone.
Yeah, you can do the same with the phone. You can just change this to this, and you can do string interpolation. So the contact phone, new contact.phone is not valid. And this will run. Okay, homeworks. Super simple homeworks, easy to remember. Try to finish off this. Try to make it, try to finish this at home. And when you are done, try to see if you can break it.
What do you mean they can break it?
Finish it now.
Yeah.
Two more classes?
No. Try to.
What do you mean break it?
Try to, let's say, what happened. I mean, it's really easy to break, right? What if I do this? As of property undefined, right? So I should check if what is coming here, it's an object as well. There are a few steps that you can do. Try to think how you can misuse it, your class, and try to improve it. Say, oh, okay, well, I should check if when I add an object. Oh yes, and you add that validation. Or what happen if I add more keys? So if I do this and I do country, is that a problem or not? Now it's not a problem, but and I have country here, but maybe it's a problem. How I can fix that with validation, right? And then so this is mandatory. What I'm saying now. So try to fix. And improve validation of what you have, and try to make add and remove work. So test those two methods. As bonus, this is bonus. Try to add here a method to search. So I would like to do like something like this: search by, and then the first will be a key, and the second will be the value. So, because I want to use it like this. So what I want to do is this. My contact list dot search by phone, and let's say 42. And this will return the array, will return the list of the contact list with the phone that starts with 42. And then the same method will be something like this: name, and then let's say m, and this will return all the contacts with the name that starts with M.
Good.
This is bonus. Okay, this search by is difficult. This is tricky to solve.
We actually had this before, but we realized we don't know how to do it. So
Yeah, but this is tricky to do. So it's a bonus. So give it a try, and if you don't do it,
Could you write it on Slack at the homework? Or?
I will write on Slack on homeworks. But guys, what I really want, I usually give very small homeworks. I'm famous in the school to give very small homeworks. But I really would like that everybody give it a try. Not that everybody solve it, but everybody like spend like 1 hour or 2 hours in the entire week to see how we go about this, and you reason about it. Because when I ask to you next Sunday, how the homeworks go, and you say, I didn't solve it, and then I will most like ask you, okay, what you didn't understand about it, and you say, no, I don't know, I just don't know how to do it. It's not a valid answer. They will throw an error. I will throw an error. So the good answer is that I tried to do this, but I got stuck in this for loop or this if or this whatever, and then we take it from there, because I need to have a specific answer back to you from what's the problem, because I need to take note myself and report to the others if you have a lack on let's say loops. I need to say this class didn't understand 100% loops. So it's also for improved quality of the courses, and we have done this through the courses, and I really care about this part.
Okay, could I ask you, we have a NODEjs on GitHub, the week 2 homework. If you can change it, please.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Instead of making this the right homework that we have to do.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna
have to push. We can push in the week 2
update the homework for GitHub, because the courses are just uploading.
Okay.
Instead of this, we can.
But you need to follow what I write on Slack.
Okay.
So if what I write on Slack is is the source of truth.
Okay.
all the rest is because you can go in the GitHub repos, and probably you can also find other exercise. But every time, I never save what I do. Now I close and I delete the folder. Every class is different. I teach the same stuff, but I teach slightly different with some improvements or some other tweaks. And all guys, you are different every time. So I tune it on the go all the time. So you can find other exercise in the previous classes that they are a bit more ahead or a bit more back.
But for example,
I'm gonna save this and send to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is
I
important.
understand, but
I just want to read it again. And
yeah. But this is your starting point for the homeworks.
Yeah.
So this is what you start, and then you need to see if you can break it and improve it, and you do that, and then you try to implement the search by function, a method, and that's optional. That's not mandatory, but give it a go. And I know it's hard, so think about how you can solve it.
Okay, don't forget to send it.
I think you need only the contact list, right? You don't need this, because this is basically using the. Yeah.
Maybe.
You wanna? Okay. You want both?
Everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
I mean, it will still be recorded, right?
We don't need
Yeah.
to use it in an HTML
You just like
or
No.
Yeah.
it's okay.
cover it from
Just JS file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you complaining when I said I want
for
everything?
some reason I've tried to make it easier.
Oh, no,
to
no,
understand
no.
the name, but it's good.
But look at me like
I think it's one of
No,
the-
but because index.js just something that you change when you
I
want.
will read it again.
Okay, man. I don't care.
I don't
I don't care. Probably I don't care.
I know. Because
Yes.
but for me to be very slow, then I need it.
Like for instance, this normal JavaScript and
Okay. Send it.
He already
arrow function, right?
Huh?
Right, arrow function.
No. If you need it, then you can have. I mean, I don't need it.
Complex ones,
Yeah, I don't, but I need. So don't look at me.
Okay, so you got now both the index file and the contact list. So you need to download those two files and run it, and it works. So that's your starting point, okay?
Just please don't forget to write the assignment so we can